The NCAA places USC Football on probation and doles out a hefty fine. We talk with a beat reporter about the violations and what it all means.
2 Hall of Fame NFL players remember the legendary John Robinson. Their thoughts on what made him such a winning USC football coach.
President-elect Trump is making his cabinet picks for key departments like Homeland Security and the EPA. Plus, he's appointed a new border czar.
Annenberg TV News is next.
USC Football will face 1 year of probation, a $50,000 fine, and coaching restrictions to open next season. Hi, I'm Kofo Jalaosho.
And I'm Brian Saravia. Let's toss it over to sports. Anchor Marissa Russ at Howard Jones Field. Excuse me.
This morning, the NCAA placed USC Football on probation for violating rules involving the number of coaches allowed to engage in on- and off-field coaching activities. USCFootball.com senior writer Connor Morissette says that the probation is like a slap on the wrist for the program.
The 1 year of probation, that just sort of means you're on notice, and if something else happens, then that can lead to further punishment. Isn't the end of the world. And then there are a few other sanctions that come with this, whereas the special teams analyst, I think, has to not partake in practice and isn't able to watch film with some of the guys for a period of time. If they did make a bowl game this year, they could play in the bowl. If they did qualify for the college football playoff next year or a bowl game next year, they'll be good to go, assuming nothing else happens.
An NCAA investigation into the violations of on- and off-field coaching activities placed the USC football program on a 1-year probation. In a news release, the NCAA said violations occurred in the Southern California football program when the program exceeded the allowable number of coaches over 2 academic years. Lincoln Riley violated head coach responsibility rules. USC Athletic Director Jen Cohen responded by saying, quote, USC has worked cooperatively with the NCAA enforcement staff and with the Committee on Infractions. We remain committed to upholding the highest standards of ethical behavior and integrity in our athletic programs, end quote. USC head coach Lincoln Riley will not be suspended as a part of the violations, but USC is being ordered to pay a $50,000 fine. For Annenberg Media, I'm Marissa Russ. Back to you in the...
Thanks, Marissa. Tonight, USC alumni and fans are remembering former USC football head coach John Robinson, who passed away yesterday at the age of 89. He coached the Trojans from 1976 to 1982. Coach Robinson took over from legendary coach John McKay in 1976 after winning 2 national championships as his offensive coordinator. He also coached the Los Angeles Rams from 1983 to 1991 and came back to USC to coach in 1993. In his 7 years with the Trojans, Coach Robinson had a record of 104-35 with 4 ties. He won the 1978 National Championship, went 4-0 in Rose Bowl games, and coached 2 Heisman Trophy winners. We spoke to some of Coach Robinson's former players about the impact he had on them. College football season. I'll have more on his impact during ATVN Sports.
President-elect Donald Trump is moving quickly to assemble his cabinet. He's currently naming those he expects to aid his political agenda once he reclaims the Oval Office early next year. He named Florida Congressman Michael Waltz to be his national security advisor. Waltz is known for his hard stance on China and has voiced concerns about U.S. involvement in Ukraine. Waltz is also on board with Trump's hard line on illegal immigration. Trump is tapping South Dakota Governor Kristi Noem as Secretary of the Department of Homeland Security. She's expected to play a crucial role in implementing Trump's strict border control policies. Former New York Congressman Lee Zeldin is Trump's choice to head the EPA. Zeldin has said that he's going to pull back on, quote, left-wing regulations and focus on unleashing economic prosperity. Trump also selected famous entrepreneurs Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy to lead the new Department of Government Efficiency.
Former ICE Director Tom Homan has warned undocumented immigrants, quote, "If you're here illegally, you better be looking over your shoulder." President-elect Donald Trump has appointed Homan to be the border czar in his administration. Homan is an ex-police officer and former director of ICE who's come out of retirement to join forces with Trump.
He has been working within the Department of Homeland Security since the Obama era. So I think that he might have, his objectives will be aligned with President Trump, but he also has kind of the bureaucratic knowledge that might make him more effective.
Talking point for this Trump administration in terms of their campaign and what they were campaigning on, and even how they're shaping up their cabinet now, is with all these folks who are just really bad human beings who are looking to win political points and separate families. It's really alarming.
Homan warned undocumented immigrants, quote, "You better start packing now." He says he plans to use a targeted approach and that families could be deported together. He will prioritize public safety threats and national security.
It kind of rubbed a lot of people, the wrong way. Hopefully Trump, that he could come up with something positive, that they can get some, citizenship and not just kind of like, be mean towards them. Like, it need to be more humility, more love towards, because we all people. The world we live in nowadays is just like, it's separation, you know what I mean? It's not, you got different type of backgrounds, different type of culture, but it's always have to put some division in it to separate you. And I don't think, and that's what a lot of confusion, you know what I mean? We all should be all together. I think diversity make the world go around.
Homan believes the U.S. border is the biggest national security vulnerability issue since 9/11 and is determined to, quote, "fix it." Well, California still has 9 uncalled races in the House of Representatives. Political reporter Dalia Sarmiento is here with a closer look at some of those races.
Thanks for that, Brian. The 2024 election season isn't over yet. The 9 yet-to-be-decided races could determine if the GOP wins a majority in the Senate and the House. Although California historically votes blue, there are a few key districts that could go either way in this election. In District 21, Democratic incumbent Jim Costa leads with a 1% lead. In District 45, Republican Michelle Steele is leading with about the same amount. In District 47, Democrat Dave Min is also in the lead with about 1%. Students weighed in on the future control of the House.
So it's like the House, the Senate, the presidency, the court, it's all one party. And so that is a little stressful for me as someone from the other side of the political aisle and as someone who I would say disagrees with a lot of Republican policies, to see that, like, I don't really think Trump is going to have much opposition in government in pushing forward policies that may be discriminatory. So I do think that leaves the people and the citizens to kind of like stand up and participate in politics in their own ways, whether that's through like grassroots organizing, petitions, etc.
The executive branch has promised to brandish its powers rather leniently, and so with the liberal application of executive orders, mandates, and kind of a promised abuse of power, that does worry me, having such a large control and no foothold for the opposing party in any.
None of these races have been called yet, and it's still too close to tell what the outcome will be. It's predicted that the GOP will win the majority in the House, but still, California's slow vote counting process is giving some Democrats hope.
Thank you for that, Dalia. Black and Hispanic students at LAUSD have received text messages asking them to report to the, quote, nearest plantation. The racist texts are part of a disturbing nationwide trend that began after last week's election. Multiple students across LA's public schools received messages similar to the one on screen. Today, the LA Urban Policy Roundtable called for LAUSD to declare a state of emergency.
Why? I think we know now racist texts. They've gone throughout the nation. You've had a number of college students, you've had a number of high school students, and you've had a number of elementary students and middle school students that have received these texts. We had them the other day, we put them out there, we showed them they're very offensive, they're very threatening, and they're very traumatic for students.
An LA Unified official said today that the district is aware of the offensive and racist text messages being sent to students and that they strongly condemn the hateful rhetoric. The LA Urban Policy Roundtable is demanding increased security and extra counseling in LA schools, and the FBI is now investigating the nationwide problem.
Serving in the military was more than just defending American ideals abroad. It was about living those ideals, pushing myself to embody them, doing my part to make them real for all people, everywhere, and all the time.
USC saluted its veterans today in a special campus event co-hosted by the Student Veterans Association. Speakers like President Folt commended veterans for their service and their strengths in academics. Student veterans like Fabian Francis credit their time in the military as the reason for their continued discipline in the classroom.
It was more the repetition. In the Marine Corps, we do repetition to everything until perfection, right? And then even then, you're continue to practice. So for me, it was like every single course that I did, I wanted to make sure that I aced it and fully understood it, because that's the whole point of the Marine Corps. Is specifically, my job as a rifleman is to be able to craft your skills, hone your skills to the best of your ability. So for me, that's kind of how I approached school. I was like, look, no matter what the topic is, I'm always going to go to office hours. I'm always going to do these things to be resilient and continue trying to understand as best as I can.
According to USC Price, 1,200 student veterans enroll every semester. There are around 600 Trojan veteran alumni, and the ROTC program has around 300 students. For more information on the USC Student Veterans Association, follow their social media at USC Veterans. Over a dozen top world leaders were not at the United Nations Climate Summit. Other leaders are calling for more action from the world's largest countries.
USC President Carol Folt announced that she will step down after this year. We talked with students reacting to this change.
And tonight, residents have a chance to react to a proposed gondola that would connect Union Station to Dodger Stadium. We'll be right back.
Let me tell you how we amplify our Latina voices. Check out Dímelo. We have it all. Deportes.
Entertainment. Noticias. ¿Qué tal? Soy Mariela Gómez y bienvenidos a Dime la Hora.
Radio and Podcasting.
Comida y cultura. Digital social media.
¿A qué equipo le vas tú? LA Galaxy o LAFC? Dímelo is the only Latina-focused media outlet at USC. Dímelo. We have it all.
Dímelo. We have it all.
My big friend, I love the big taste of chocolate in this little Hershey's kiss.
Hershey's Kisses, the little kiss with the big taste.
This morning, Billy looked like any other boy, but as the moon rose, he turned into a werewolf. He used new Pa's Halloween makeup kits. His friends did too. Look, Mike's a vampire. Amy's a ghost. Pa's makeup is safer than masks. It never blocks vision, and it's hypoallergenic too. So watch your kids turn into the creatures they really are with new Pa's Halloween makeup kits.
Surprise news of USC President Carol Folt's retirement has raised questions about who will replace her and how that person will handle recent admissions scandals and expensive lawsuits against USC. On Friday, President Folt released a statement saying, "I want to express my appreciation for my extraordinary team of professional leaders and our Trojan family, worldwide and lifelong, who love USC and have opened their arms to welcome me everywhere." USC students had mixed reactions about her leaving.
You know, I just there was a level of depersonalization of it, where I just didn't really know who was running my campus. So yeah, that's my impression of her, the lack of an impression.
She did, I know she was led the school, I guess, but I've never seen her. I've never felt a daily presence or an effect from her. So honestly, it makes no difference.
She's such a queen. She's a legend, and she always has such an amazing energy. To see her at all the football games, to see her at some of the clubs and societies, she's always got such a passion for the USC Trojans, and it's just heartbreak, really.
Folt will finish out the school year and step down in July. She may remain at USC to teach.
The 2024 UN Climate Action Summit just kicked off in Baku, Azerbaijan. About 100 national leaders are meeting with some notable exceptions. But the leaders of the 13 countries with the world's largest CO2 emissions were absent, including the presidents of the US, China, and the Prime Minister of India. Despite various world leaders not in attendance, a large audience still gathered to listen to the Azerbaijan president and the Secretary General of the United Nations. And the UN Secretary General had this warning: the world must pay up or humanity will pay the price. We are in the final countdown to limit global temperature rise to 1.5 degrees Celsius, and time is not on our side. While countries will present updated national climate action plans under the Paris Agreement, it is expected President-elect Trump will pull the U.S. out of it for the second time. And now for weather. The holiday season is just around the corner. Let's check in with Anasazi to see if the merry nights will continue.
Well, I'll never turn down a pumpkin spice latte any time of the year, but the cold weather does make it feel a little bit better. Hi, I'm Anastasia Ochoa, and this is Sazi's Weather Sizzle. Let's get into it. Taking a look at the current temps on campus, right now we do have a beautiful 63 degrees with 42% humidity. You are going to feel that chilly weather as the night progresses. You're obviously bundle up for sure. Looking to the week ahead, we do have clear skies nearly for the entire 5 days. It will start to fog up and maybe even get a slight chance of rain on Friday. You can see those temperatures drop down to the low 40s. So definitely feeling that winter weather, and before you know it, it's going to be time to celebrate the holidays. That's all for weather right now. Back to you.
Thank you, Sazi. Residents of Chinatown and Chavez Ravine will have an opportunity to voice their concerns tonight about a gondola project aimed at reducing traffic. California State Parks will discuss a proposed general amendment plan to build the gondola from Dodger Stadium to Union Station. A few local residents spoke about the benefits of the proposed plan.
Well, I think anytime there's change, people are resistant because they can't envision the end benefit. But I think anything that helps reduce the traffic at the street level is a good thing.
Because I think it'll be beneficial for everybody in the city right now. The traffic, and just, I think it'll be great for the city.
I feel like that whether it's publicly or privately funded, it's still going into the community and helping people transport, another way for transportation.
LA residents can attend the California State Parks meeting via Zoom tonight from 6 to 7 o'clock.
Women's basketball looks to continue their dominant start to the season tonight. USC is making changes on and off the field, and one of them has the Trojans turning back the clocks. And Marissa called up with the Trojans Boxing Club. All that and more next on ATVN Sports.
That sounded like a... Whoa! And it's getting closer!
Peekaboo!
Count Chocula! Did you hear a wolf?
It was Wolfie, howling for the 2 new marshmallows in my Count Chocula cereal. The lovely chocolatey part of this complete breakfast.
2 new marshmallows?
Yes, the new full moon and chocolate wolf marshmallows make Count Chocula a howling delight.
For a limited time, you can try the full moon and chocolate wolf marshmallows inside new shiny boxes of Count Chocula.
Wow, Millhouse, that frozen black cherries turned your tongue black. My tongue's black too.
Let me try.
Hey,
Must have black tongue.
This Halloween, the Simpsons are at Burger King. Now in every big kid's meal you can get a Simpsons spooky light up. They gleam, there is scream, and you can collect all 15 at Burger King. Where else?
This Halloween, Blockbuster Video has a special treat for your whole family. You can take home any of these great Halloween classics for just $7.99. Or rent 2 movies and get them for $3.99. Now, if that's not a reason to scream, what is? Make it a Blockbuster fright.
Welcome back to ATVN Sports. I'm Drew Yuskovich.
And I'm Marissa Russ. USC Football is back in the Coliseum after a tough loss to Washington and a bye week. With the Trojans still fighting for a bowl eligibility and a change has to be made, and that's exactly what Lincoln Riley did. After another fourth quarter loss to Washington, Riley made the decision to start Jaden Mayava over Miller Moss for Nebraska. The redshirt sophomore was a standout at UNLV and has already seen success as a Trojan. Mayava spoke about how he can lead the team to a win.
Be better vocally, and just speak on behalf of, I'm here just for one thing, and that's just to win games, and I feel like I firmly believe in our teammates. We got a great team, great coaching staff, and they do such a great job preparing us for the week in, week out. So, that's all I can do.
So, Drew, is Mayava the key to beating Nebraska and getting the Trojans to a bowl game?
I think he is the key. I know the season doesn't look good. We're 4-5, and we must win the next 2 games. I know we have to for a chance for a bowl game, but I think he might give us the chance and the key as Miller Moss takes the seat and I guess sits and watches us now.
Yeah, I think it's a risk, but I think we have the chance. All of the questions will finally get their long-awaited answers this Saturday at the Coliseum.
And new QB isn't the only change for the Trojans this weekend. For homecoming, USC will debut their 1972 throwback uniforms, honoring the legacy of their national championship team. USC's throwback uniforms bring back the iconic 1972 look, complete with classic cardinal and gold striped shoulders and a traditional design that celebrates the Trojans' storied past. Current players like Woody Marks and Deuce Robinson model the gear with pride, embodying the legacy and tradition that USC football is known for. The Trojans currently have a losing record, but maybe the jersey of a formerly #1 ranked USC team will bring them good luck this weekend.
Former player Eric Dickerson spoke to Annenberg Media about his time with John Robinson. Dickerson played under Robinson in the 1980s and broke the single-season rushing yards record with Robinson as his coach.
I'm really sad the loss of John Robinson. I have a picture of me and him, when I broke the record here in my office right now. And, I'm laughing, he's laughing. I still have that picture, and it's an old black and white picture, but it's just one of the first pictures that we took. We talked. He wanted me to have that 2,000 yards. I wanted it bad because I got close my first year, and he told me, he said, "I told you I'd get it for you." So yeah, so I remember that very vividly. When he handed me the ball and said, "I told you I'd get it for you." So yeah, so like I say, he made me. God first, but he made me the player that I was,
We also spoke to 2 of Robinson's former players while he was at USC, including one of those Heisman Trophy winners we mentioned earlier.
And you knew that he cared. So it was not just as a football player, but he was a person too. And he wanted the very, very best for you. And then I think he pushed you. And he pushed you because I think he saw things in us that we didn't see in ourselves.
I mean, he was just a galvanizer of men, of young men. He had a real interpersonal, unique gift of being able to connect with people. I mean, it didn't matter what race, what year, what your position was. He made everybody feel special.
Evans said one of the most memorable things about Coach Robinson was his infectious sense of humor.
The #3 USC women's basketball team is back on their home court at the Galen Center for a 4-game homestand. With a strong 2-0 start, women's basketball are ready to face the California State Northridge tonight. The Trojans are off to an impressive season start, showcasing powerful performances like last week's dominant 90-35 victory over Cal Poly. Juju Watkins and Raiha Marshall have been key players, leading USC to solid wins and building excitement for what's to come this season.
Challenge our players to come out and play with a ton of energy and heart and, show these fans what we think we can be this year. And I thought we did that. I loved how we shared the game. We had, 6 people in double figures. We applied a ton of pressure and did a lot of good things. I've stayed pretty consistent with our energy and effort, and that's a good place to be, and we'll continue to get better.
Don't miss a minute of the action as the women of Troy continue their drive for excellence tonight at 7 against CSUN at the Galen Center.
This week, we're going back to the ring to visit Trojan Club Boxing once again.
Your winner, out of the red corner representing
The boxing club traveled to the Sweet Science Boxing and MMA gym at Hawthorne this weekend. The club hosted the Iliad in LA tournament that hosted colleges as far away as the University of Michigan. 6 of 13 competing Trojans won their matches. Senior Justin Zhou was one of those 6 winners. Zhou's win was his first as a boxer.
Looking back at the live stream of the event, I saw the look of surprise on my face, which was pretty funny, you know, because I wanted to stay composed and like look all cold and everything, but you could see that flicker of surprise and excitement on my face for sure.
The boxing club's next competition will be on November 22nd. For more information, visit @TrojanBoxing on Instagram.
That's all the time we have for sports. I'm Drew Yeskovich. Now over to Brian to hear about a museum.
It's actually me, Drew. Don't miss our cultural close-up segment, where today we visited an indigenous cultural exhibit.
Presenting Sheer Madness, Circuit City's Midnight Madness Sale. Wednesday only till midnight. Circuit City will go raving mad with shocking reductions on hundreds of items. Wednesday only, this Sony 19-inch color TV with remote control, just $397. Save on this JVC compact disc player, just $198. Circuit City's Midnight Madness Sale. Get there by midnight before the curtain falls.
What? There's something under the bed. I heard something. There's nothing under the bed. I heard something. See, look. It's just Fluffy. He got scared by a dumb cat. I wasn't scared.
I told you there was nothing under the bed.
Gosh, Burger Chef, it's Wolfburger the werewolf. Where can I get delicious burgers? Where can I get fun food? Where, oh where? At Burger Chef. Where?
And now at participating Burger Chefs, you can buy fun meals that now come on Halloween magic meal trays. There's a magic trick in each fun meal. There are 10 different magic meal tricks you can collect.
Burger Chef, you're incredible!
November is Native American Heritage Month, and the Autry Museum of the American West is showcasing an exhibit called Future Imaginaries, Indigenous Art, Fashion, Technology to Celebrate.
Native American Heritage Month is particularly important because we steward one of the preeminent Native collections in the world. On the one hand, as I say, there's the collection that gives us special purpose during Native Heritage Month. But more than the collection is the relationship with Native communities.
The goal of the collection is to showcase Native American culture from the past and tie them to the future. CEO Aaron says the museum mandates collaboration with Native communities to handle all the exhibits. The exhibit opened in September and will be around for 1.5 years. Thanks for watching Annenberg TV News. From everyone at Annenberg Media, I'm Kopo Jalaosho.
And I'm Brian Saravia. For more coverage, watch and subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/Annenberg Media. Have a good night, everyone.